2, 1. Hey, college coaches, this is Coach Anthony Williams, founder and CEO of Connected Athletics. We are a new startup company based in Austin, Texas. We're focused on using technology as a platform to help student athletes develop and manage their brand during the recruiting process and as they transition from high school to college and then into a career once football is over with. We've got another exciting prospect with us on the podcast tonight. But before we get into that, I want to thank our sponsors for sponsoring our podcast. And as you can see here, they do a great job. So want to thank Go Edit Graphics based out of Nebraska. They do a great job of empowering high school and college athletic departments in creating these great graphics to promote players, their schedule, or any information coming out of the athletic department. Also want to thank my friend Brian Soltis, one of the GMs at Buffalo Wild Wings, for supporting us. They are doing a great job in supporting Texas high school athletes here in the state of Texas. So I want to thank them for being a sponsor. And then lastly, I want to thank my friends at Epic. Epic stands for Every Play I Compete. They are a new sports apparel company based out of Houston, Texas. The CEO is a good friend of mine, Stefan Johnson. Please go to their Twitter page at I am Epic 24/7. And they'll be able to show you all the great, they do uniforms and 7-on-7 jerseys and gloves and masks and everything else. So check out Epic going forward and thank all of them for their support. But let's get back to why we're here on the podcast. Brandon Ervin is somebody I got to know when I was evaluating kids, the top players in the class 24 to be invited for the FBU Adidas Freshman All-American game. He came out, we'll talk more about it later on, but he really impressed me. Brandon Ervin Jr., he's a class of 24 defensive back from Lincoln High School in Tacoma, Washington. He's 5'10", 165 pounds. I love this part, 3.7 GPA. Looking forward to hearing more about that. And you can see his Twitter page there. I know we're very early in the recruiting cycle for class 22, but Brandon, as you've already posted, you already had your first offer. Congratulations in the class 24, more coming your way, but let's just jump right in. Brandon, how you doing tonight? And how was your workout today?
I'm good, sir. I'm actually at my facility right now, about to get my workout after this happens.
Okay, perfect. Well, we'll get through this and let you get back. But I wanted to thank you for coming on the podcast and sharing your story, because eventually things are gonna go by pretty quickly here, and they should know the class 24 will be in the crosshairs when it comes to recruiting. First and foremost, you know this, college coaches want to hear about your academics. Tell us, with that strong GPA, tell us about the importance that you put on your academics. Oh, Brandon, you're on mute.
You cut out on that last part. Can you say that again?
Yeah, I sure will. We noticed your 3.7 GPA, and I'm sure college coaches want to hear from you about the importance that you put on your academics.
Well, first and foremost, I work in an environment where both my parents are educators, so I'm held to the highest expectation possible. So I think I'm always learning, always trying to find new ways to be better in my academics.
Okay. Tell us, what are some of your favorite classes that drive that strong GPA?
Well, since we're online, it's not really as my favorite, but like I mostly like Spanish and English. I'm like writing stories and like learning new language.
Okay. And then do you have an idea? I know college is still 3 years away, but do you have an idea what you might want to major in when you get to college?
I've not thought about that yet, but I would like to work in the field of education.
Okay. Following your parents' footsteps. I like that a lot. Okay. One of the things that college coaches want to understand about their athletes is how they learn. And I'm sure you've heard this from two parents that are educators. My wife is an educator also. But tell these coaches, would you consider yourself more of a verbal, visual, or hands-on learning style?
I'm definitely a verbal learner. I like asking questions and challenging my other students or classmates to their best ability and think outside the box.
Okay. Well, Brandon, we're right in the middle still in the middle of the pandemic right now, and college coaches can't really be on campus yet. But if a college coach was to come by your school and see you in the classroom, what are they going to see? Where do you sit? How do you engage with your classmates? How do you engage your teachers? Tell us a little bit about that.
I'm definitely always asking questions, so you'll see my hand raised a lot all the time, or I'm sitting up all the time. I'm moving around the classroom, make sure students are doing well. I help the teacher a lot, whether he or she needs something of me.
Okay. Well, and last, I want to ask you, there's always a teacher, a counselor, an AP, or coach that has an impact on us academically. Take this time to shout out somebody at Tacoma High School who's really helped you out academically.
Academically, I was Coach Cushman. He's clearly out for the uh, this semester because he's having a baby, but he's definitely one of my main inspiration or motivation because he's always talking about how his day's going. He's always communicating with his kids in the classroom, and his not really like assistant, but like assistant Coach King. He's working very well. That's my sixth period English class, and then all my other teachers or coach would be Coach Misaki, who's the varsity football coach at Lincoln.
Okay, good. I love sharing that out. We always rely on the support that we have, the student athletes. Let's switch over to your family. We kind of mentioned them earlier, but tell us about the rest of the Ervin family. What do your mom and dad do? Are you an only child? Give us a little bit of background about the rest of the family.
My mom is the CEO of Graduate Tacoma, which is a organization that helps kids graduate from Tacoma. They went from 60% to about almost 90% this year. She's doing really well. She just got her doctorate degree this year. And my dad, he's now a counselor at Mount Tacoma High School after working for the district, overseeing all counselors. I have two siblings. One name is Christian, and the other youngest one is Chanel. She's 2 years old. They're both great. I love them both.
Are you the oldest of the siblings?
Definitely, yeah.
Tell us about the importance you put on being the best big brother you can be to your younger siblings.
Well, I know they both look up to me, so I know how to set the highest example for them possible.
Okay. And one thing you mentioned your mom, but congratulations, Dr. Ervin, on your success. Looking forward to hearing more about that. I love seeing parents be successful for student athletes. Big impact there. Brandon, I know we'll talk about later on about your experience out of Naples, but I know that you spend a lot of time working out and getting ready for the season. But tell us about what do you like to do when you're not working out and you're not playing football? What are some of your interests outside of playing football?
I always have to be hanging out with my friends or my teammates like after practice because we mostly just have a good time, eat a lot of food. As seen the call Calwell, he's Aron Calwell. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. He's really cool. So I have a lot of other friends, so I just like hanging out.
Okay. All right. Tell us a little bit about, social media is a big part of recruiting now. For a coach that maybe hasn't visited your Twitter or any of your social media feeds, tell them about what kind of message, what kind of brand are you putting out there about who you are from a recruiting perspective?
Well, I'm mostly on Twitter to post my workouts. So like I mostly post for intentions, not really like for clout or fame, like how most people are doing now. On my Instagram, you'll see like me and my family and some workouts on there too. But like I mostly look at my Twitter because like it sees all my weightlifting, all my workouts, all my route running or DB, everything.
Great. Okay. That's how it should be used. A little lighter now. Tell us what is your all time favorite football movie?
It would be I forgot what it's called. It was when Bellevue beat the number one team in the nation. They were 150-0, and then they came to Washington State, and Bellevue beat them.
Okay. All right. And then when it's your time to choose what they're going to have for dinner in the Irvin household, what are you choosing? What's your favorite food?
My favorite meal my mom makes would be chicken, black beans, and rice.
Okay.
It's
I
really good.
like it. And then as far as music, do you have a favorite music artist or what kind of genre of music do you listen to?
My favorite music artist would be J. Cole or Lil Baby.
Okay. All right. Obviously, one thing college coaches always ask me to ask during these interviews is who's going to be involved in helping you make the decision on when you commit and what school you'll commit to? Who's going to be involved in that process for you?
Well, first it's gonna be my mom and dad, and then I'm gonna like ask my little brother for his opinion on where I should go, and then definitely my big bro, Keely Ringo.
Okay. And then a little bit about recruiting. Are you looking to stay in state? Do you want to stay close to home? Or are you open to any program across the country?
Uh, as I've said before, I would like to look at Oregon, Florida, or if I get my GPA even higher, I would like to go into Stanford.
Okay. All right. It's good to know. Tell us a little bit about, we love as players, we love when the community comes out and supports us on game night. Tell us what you're doing to give back to your community. Are you involved in church, nonprofits? What are you doing to give back to the community you live in?
Well, prior to the pandemic, over the past few years, I was a part of the Tacoma Gents Club, which we made sack lunches for the homeless, and then I made homeless just by myself with my dad, and we gave back to them. And then every summer, me and my family, we make like a big just a dinner for everybody for free, and like everybody comes along, have a good time. We're playing music, having fun, all that.
Okay. It's good to hear, giving back is important. One of the things I always talk about with young athletes, I think you heard me talk about this down in Naples, but, eventually the game of football will come to an end. What do you want your life to look like once football is over, whenever that is?
If I were to stop playing football, I would like to, like I said, go back into the field of education and give back to my community by then.
Okay. And then what about personally? Do you want to be married one day? You want to be a father, have kids? Tell us a little bit about that.
I would like to be married and have kids. Yes.
Okay. All right. Um, Tell me, what's your favorite sports memory as a player of yourself?
It was my seventh grade season. I was playing for the Bellarmine Lions. There were 10-6 left in the game, fourth quarter. The quarterback I was playing at safety at the time. Quarterback threw it up in the air, picked the ball up to end the game. We went to the championship.
Okay. Now you remember that very quickly. Like it was just yesterday because it
Yeah.
was only a few years ago. I like that. You just, I don't know, did you guys have, you did not have a freshman season. Did they play football in Washington?
No, we did not.
You did not. Okay. Tell me, what are you looking forward to going to next year as a sophomore? What are things you're working on right now? What would you consider your strengths, and what are some of the things you're working on going into your sophomore year?
I'll say my strengths and weaknesses. Start with my strength. I can read when a receiver is about to break. I like looking at his hips, like how he runs his routes. 'Cause I used to run routes. Like, and then my weaknesses would be just I guess too much on when the receiver is breaking off because I'll make a wrong guess and then he breaks off and he's open. So I'll try to stop doing that.
Okay. It's impressive, and I know we're dealing with the pandemic right now, but you did not have a freshman year. I ended up inviting you to come down to Naples and playing in the FBU Adidas Freshman All-American game. Tell us about that experience and how it impacted you as you start getting ready for your sophomore year.
Well, after that game, I've been to Florida 3 times now for seventh to eighth grade season, and so leading up to that, it wasn't a lot of pressure. It was like very exciting for me to be there. So thank you for inviting me to that and letting me show out.
It's impressive, and you're welcome. It's impressive that you played in that game without playing a season. I remember kind of teasing you in practice, like, man, you out of breath, like, coach. I've been playing. A lot of guys were struggling down there, but the one thing I would tell a lot of college coaches that I was very impressed with your press skills and your footwork there. Tell us a little bit about your experience going to get some of the top receivers in your class.
The top receivers in Washington are very good. I would say competing with them every day as here at FSP has been a challenge for me. But like I've been adapting with them, working with them, I've been better than them. But there's always got to be someone better than you. I always got to keep looking forward and keep working.
I like it. Okay. As you're working out there with TSP, what are some of the things you are working on? Are you working on your speed, your quickness, your strength? What are you really trying to enhance going into your second year?
My speed, my break off the ball, and like turning and jumping for the ball. I did that not as often as I should because like the fade ball should be in the air. I just need to turn around and look for it instead of just trying to bat it down through the hands.
Yeah, every good DB's got to learn how to play with eyes in the ball. We talked about that out in Naples. If you're in phase and he looks, you can look. But if you're out of phase, you got to run through his hands. And you did a great job of that during the game. Let's switch to your recruiting here as we finish up. Brandon, how would your teammates describe you as a teammate?
I would say my teammates would describe me as someone who's getting them hype. Like if you need a chant, I got you. If you need a little stretch out, I got you. If you need someone to just like have a motivational speak with, I got you. Like I'm always like working with them all the time.
Okay. Another thing that coaches love coaching players are dependable players. Somebody who says that, coach, I'm going to be there on time. I'm going to be there. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Tell these coaches, are you a dependable player?
Most definitely. And because
Okay.
I'm always the first one in the door and the last one to leave.
Okay. I like it. Leadership's a big thing that we talk about and stress a lot, but tell me, what is your definition of leadership and how do you plan on leading as a sophomore coming into your sophomore year?
Leadership is someone that you can count on. Someone that is focused all the time and someone who's ready to work. So I feel like if as a leader on my team, I need to always be there for them and keep working.
Okay. I like it. I usually, I think you heard me say this also in Naples. There's two types of players. There's players that love playing in games, and then there's players that love to practice and then play in the games. Which one are you?
I'm someone who loves to practice and play the games. Because I feel like if I practice first, then I'm gonna be perfect in the game.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that in your preparation down in Naples, so I'm not surprised to hear you say that. Tell these coaches, are you a big film study guy? Do you like watching film of your opponent? And more importantly, as my son played in the NFL for 6 years as a DB, are you starting to create your own little portfolio of each receiver you'll face going forward, like a film study?
Um, I definitely look at film right after my game, so I would come home and watch film after that, or after a practice, because we film our practices. And then I don't think I don't study other receivers. I just need to I look up them, like watch their highlights, see how they move first, and I just play them in the game, and then I adapt to them over time.
Okay, all right, I like that. You're a good athlete, obviously, Brandon. Tell these coaches, do you play other sports besides football in the high school? In high school?
I ran track, basketball, and did soccer for like a year. But like mostly going to my sophomore year, I might run track again.
Okay. I'm surely speaking for Tracy. There's not a college coach that loves hearing that football players are running track in the spring. Tell us, what events did you compete in track and field?
The 100, 200, and 400 meters.
Okay. It's great to see here that obviously you need to have speed and quickness as a DB, but tell us one other thing that you learned from track and field that helped you become a better football player.
Uh, it's track was an individual sport, so I would always be like it's always about me and try to be in that first place spot. So I would think track has made me more independent.
Okay, I like it. It's a great response. Coaches love players that overcome adversity, either in game or in life. Tell us about a time in your life, either personally or dealing with sports, that you had to overcome some type of adversity.
Dealing with sports, I was on the eighth grade future team, which was last year, but then I got moved down to the Rising Stars team during a tournament. But like after that day, I just knew I had to keep working and keep pushing harder, and that put me here today with an offer from Nevada.
Okay, great. That's good stuff. As we finish up here, we talked about recruiting a little bit. You wanted to stay close to home, but tell these coaches. I mean, what is it you're looking for from a program, both academically and athletically, that's going to help you decide? Oh yeah, that's where I want my degree from, and that's who I want to play for.
Well, academics always first, so I always need to get my education up. So I think a school needs to hold me accountable for whatever I do, whether that's in the classroom or outside the classroom on the field. So I think if you need me to write an essay or like run lines all the time, then I would do that for you.
Okay, I like it. And then there isn't a coach in the country that doesn't love a competitive player. Tell these coaches about your competitive spirit as an athlete.
I just don't like losing. If we line up on the field, I just need to make sure my team wins.
Okay. And then how does that drive you in the offseason? I know you work hard over at TSP, but tell us about your competitive nature when you're not even playing in season. Like when you're working out, do you still try to win every drill? I mean, how does that drive you in the offseason?
Here in Washington, there is no off season. I'm always working whether that's in the field or in the classroom. So I feel like if I were to need work on something, it's definitely my speed and my strength because like I always can get better at that. It's just attributes that people need, especially play DB.
Okay. Brandon, is there a certain DB at the college or pro level that you look up to that you're trying to pattern your game off of? And who is that?
Part of my game off of would be Richard Sherman.
Okay. And what about his game are you trying to integrate into yours? So, Brandon, as we finish up the interview, and I thank you for all your time tonight, but we talk about the term elevator pitch, which I know your mom and dad know about. It's when you have 15 to 30 seconds in front of somebody who can have an impact in your future. In the next 15, 20 seconds, look in the camera and tell these coaches why they should recruit you and what you're going to bring to their program.
I'm a student athlete that loves to compete. I will never back down for a challenge. If you will never find anyone out who will outwork me. If you do, I'll move next door to them and work even harder than them. Always find a way to adapt and persevere through any obstacle that gets in my way. But I don't just do it for me. I do it for my family in my state of Washington.
And I love it. I love how you represent the Pacific West Coast. As somebody from the Bay Area, man, I'm looking forward to you seeing you going forward. Hey, I want to thank you for coming on, telling your story, man. If you if you need any help, let me know. But I know you're going to be a rising star in class 24. You've already shown that and proved that. So nothing but up into the right for you. Thank you to Dr. Ervin and your dad and the rest of the family. If you ever need anything, just let me know, okay?
Thank you, Coach.
All right, man, have a good night, okay?